here's your host, Bob Frantz.
My friend Larry Elder likes to say, we've got a country to save. We hear it all the time, that phrase. We want to save the country. This is the election that we have to save the nation. We have to preserve the republic. And those of us who are patriots, we're proud of saying those kinds of things because we're all about the flag and we're all about the country. Got to save the country, got to save the nation, got to save the republic. We say it all the time. What is a country? What is a nation? What is a republic? I hate to say it, but I'm a little bit afraid that those words don't mean a lot. Why? Because a country it's nameless, it's faceless. Yeah, I suppose if you wanted to, you could say, well, it's the face of the Statue of Liberty. Okay. I guess. But let's discuss what a country actually is. When we say go vote tomorrow to save the country, it doesn't mean much without giving it a face. Our country is your coworker who just had her second baby, and she's panicking. They're making it now, barely, really, really difficult, but they're making it with their one child. But with the new baby and the prices of formula and baby clothes, diapers, all 25% higher than they were just a few years ago when they had the first baby. But her husband doesn't have a second job. And if your coworker, who's going to be off for maternity leave, comes back to work after maternity leave, it's going to cost her just as much in child care for the two children as she would earn at the job. So she makes no dent in the costs at all. She is our country. Our country is the hardworking middle-class dad who was just transferred to a different branch, 25 miles further away from the house. It's 50 miles round trip each day, times 5 days a week, 250 more miles a week, over 1,000 more miles per month. And he could afford it when gas was $2.39. He cannot afford it when it's $3.59. And $3.59 is what the average has been in the last 4 years. And it will no doubt rise further as the war on fossil fuels continues in the next 4 years. So he has to find a new job closer to home, if he can. He is our country. Our country is your daughter, the high school or college athlete, volleyball player, great athlete, highly successful basketball star. Really gets out there and does an amazing job, highly competitive, highly successful. The track athlete, maybe she's a swimmer, like Riley Gaines. Our country is your daughter who now has to compete against biological males and has to worry about a volleyball being spiked at 110 miles an hour off the fist of a grown man straight at her face, not giving her enough reflexive time to get out of the way. Going up for that rebound and coming down with his big muscular arms and shoulders and elbows into the face of your daughter. Destroying her competitive spirit. Destroying her opportunities. She is our country. Our country is also your 4-year-old. Your 4-year-old preschool who comes home and says, Mommy, Daddy, can I wear a dress like Michael? What? What do you mean, Michael? Well, Michelle. Michelle wears a dress. Can I wear one too? Teacher says she's special. Your 4-year-old is our country. He wants to be special too. Our country is your 11-year-old, one in 6th grade, asking why she can't take the special pills her friends take so that they can be boys, like they're switching to. Mom, you don't understand. They're going to be boys now. And all they have to do is take these pills, and it's going to stop puberty or something. I want mine. I'm not going to be left out, Mom. If I can't get them from you, I'll get them from somebody else. That 11-year-old is our country. Our country is the family across town, the one who's grieving the loss of their family member, their loved one, who became the latest victim in a growing number of violent crimes committed by transnational gangs that are filtering their way into small American towns, from the big cities into the American towns, just like yours. The ones who have been allowed into the United States by our borders are. Our country is your daughter and your son-in-law. They live in that 2-bedroom apartment, 1 bedroom from them and 1 for their child. They've been saving for years to buy the first house. But with mortgage rates at near historic highs due to the rampant inflation, they can't afford that house. They're going to have to stay in that apartment a few years longer. And that second child, well, the kids will just have to share a bedroom. Our country is your son, the one who just turned 18 and got a letter in the mail that says, please report to your local draft board. Because the wars in Eastern Europe that have spread west into NATO countries that we are obligated to assist, the invasion of Taiwan by communist China, and the ongoing assaults on Israel by Iran in the Middle East. These things, we are told, have threatened America's safety and security. So we now have to get involved. The draft will be reinstated. Our country is your employer, the one whose overhead costs just doubled again because of crushing new regulations pushed on them by the massive government that aims to control everything they do and how they do it, and have to change so many things about how they manufacture the products that your company sells, all because they have to be concerned about their carbon footprint and other climate change nonsense. Your employer who has to have a massive layoff, while the plant can be retrofitted to fit all of the new regulations. You're on that layoff list. Our country is your gun safe, the one that you keep in the house, and contained inside it, your Second Amendment rights. The gun safe that will be emptied forcibly by the government, which states we can march right into your house to see how you check your gun, to see how you store your gun, and yes, to take away your gun. And oh, by the way, check your mail because we'll send you a little small compensation and a thank you note for participating in the mandatory gun buyback program. Our country is your embarrassment in the checkout line. When your groceries total up $240, but your checking account only has $225 and you miscounted. And you thought a couple of coupons would apply that didn't. Your account, of course, is always lower now because the Trump tax cuts expired. And now your paycheck is always a little lighter every Friday. Our country is your embarrassment when you try to cover the difference in cost with your credit card. And you tap it. And instead of the beep, you hear the buzzer. Declined. Because of course it is. With more Americans in massive credit debt right now than ever before in U.S. history due to their inability to afford daily necessities with their actual budgets because of the Inflation Reduction Act. You're tapped out in all ways. This is what our country is. When you go and vote tomorrow, those are the faces you need to see. Don't just see a flag, glorious as it may be. Don't just see a nameless, faceless entity that says, I'm voting to save the country. See the faces. See the daughter. See that hardworking dad. See that single mom. See that 4-year-old at preschool. See that 11-year-old girl who thinks she has to become an 11-year-old boy just to be with the in crowd. See yourself at that checkout line. See yourself trying to tell the government, what do you mean you're here to take my gun? See the face of your son as he drives away and goes and has to report to the draft board. See those people, because they are the country. That's what we mean. That's what Larry Elder means. We've got a country to save, yeah, we do. But what is the country? Who is the country? We are the country. We have to save ourselves. And if saving ourselves from all of those things that I just described takes a back seat in your mind to how mean that orange guy is, how strange he speaks, how insultingly and offensively he tweets or messages, if you think that, you'd rather sacrifice the country as we have defined it. All of those faces, all of those people who will suffer. If you think those people and their suffering, your people, your families, if you think that, that their suffering is worth not casting a vote at all because you just don't like that guy, then it's time to stop and take a self-inventory. Do a reality check and find out what exactly is the most important to you. I have said it before. The man for whom we will vote tomorrow is not perfect, but we are not electing him to become our Messiah. We already have one of those. We don't need him to be perfect. We need him to help our country, to make things just a little bit easier for that single mom, that working class dad, that daughter athlete, that son going to the draft board, that 4-year-old in preschool seeing his friends wearing dresses and being told by the teacher with the green hair that that little boy is special and wanting to be special too. It's your employer. It's your gun safe. It's you at the grocery store. That's all we need him to do. Make those things a little bit better. That's how we save our country. That's what we mean when we say we've got a nation to save. We have to preserve the republic. The republic isn't a flag. It's not a map. It's everything you see every single day when you look in the mirror and then you turn to look at your family. And you turn to look at your friends, you turn to look at your neighbors, you turn to look at your coworkers, you turn to look at your paycheck, turn to look at your vehicle, turn to look at your living structure. That's what a country is. Which choice will help save that? When you come to the answer to that question, that's when you're ready to go get in line and vote to save the country. We'll be right back.